Clap once if you hear me. Clap twice if you hear me. Clap 3 times. Hello, everyone. Coach Shakia here. I'm a coordinator for Asphalt Green's Recess Enhancement Program, where our goal is to make recess safe, active, and fun. Now, in order to do that in these current conditions, we have to go over some safety tips. Tip 1, remember to wash your hands for at least 20 seconds before or after playing any game. Tip 2, make sure that everyone is practicing social distancing and staying at least 6 feet apart. Tip 3, avoid touching your face. And tip 4, if you have to cough or sneeze, don't do it into your hands. Make sure you cough or sneeze into your arm. 2 thumbs up if you understand, and 2 thumbs up if you're ready to get started. Awesome. In this video, we're going to be focusing on a very fun, safe game called the maze. What's the name of the game? The maze. I'm going to be using the RET model, which stands for Ready, Explain, Play, to teach you about this game. The maze is really great for students of all ages. You can play it in a couple different spaces. It's great for safety with social distancing, and you need minimal equipment to play this game. So let's start with Ready. There's a couple things we want to do to be ready to lead our game. First thing is you want to map out your play space and designate boundaries. Second, you want to remove anything that might pose a safety risk to your students. Third, you want to make sure that you have all the equipment you need ready to play your game. For this game, all you'll need are cones on the ground or tape on the ground. And last, you want to make sure that you organize your students in a open area, their designated play space. So for this game, it's going to be a line game. So what you want to do is have them line up one behind each other, standing 6 feet apart. Let me see 2 jazz hands if you're ready to move on to explain. Awesome. So when we are explaining the game to our students, we want to give them a brief, quick description on how to play the game. When we're doing this, a couple things we want to remember is to use a loud, clear voice when we're explaining the rules to our students. We don't want to yell at them. We just want to command their attention. We also want to check for understanding with open-ended questions. So a question I would ask my students while playing the maze is, what do you do when you make a wrong move? So you should have a copy of the rules for the maze in front of you. We're going to go through the rules of the game as if I were explaining the game to my students, and I want you to follow along. Hey, 7th grade, welcome to Recess. I'm Coach Shakia, and today I have a new game for you all to play. It's called the maze. What's the name of the game? The maze. So if you can all point at the cones, what do we see here? We have a 5x5 square grid. Those cones make a secret maze, and I'm the only person who knows the pathway through, all right? Now it's your job to figure out how to get from the start cone to the end cone. If you make a mistake, all you're gonna do is 5 jumping jacks, and then you're gonna go to the back of the line, and then the next person is gonna go, all right? I'm gonna set you up in a line, standing one head behind each other, 6 feet away from each other. So please, don't move from the spot that I put you in. Now, let's see. Where do you have to go? Right, to the end cone. And what happens if you make a wrong move? You do jumping jacks and go to the end of the line. So let's say I'm the first person in line and I make it 3 cones in and I make a wrong move. I'm going to do my jumping jacks and go to the end of the line. The next person in line should be paying attention to the moves that I made. All right, this is like a teamwork game. We all work together. The farther we get in, the more closer we get to the end cone. So please try to remember what the first person in front of you, the steps that they made to make it through. Once we're successful and make it to the end cone, that means that we are going to start a new round and I'm going to pick a new maze. 2 thumbs up if we understand, and 2 thumbs up if we're ready to get started. Good. So that's how you explain the maze to your students. After we explain the game, we move on to playing the game. A couple things I want you to keep in mind when you're playing this game is before the kids start, demonstrate how you want them to move through the maze. All right, we're putting cones on the ground. Maybe you don't want them stepping on the cones. Show them how they can move through the cones. If you put tape on the ground, then tell them that you want them to stand on the tape. Also, give the students a chance to kind of gather around, still social distancing, around the grid so that they can come up with an idea of how they're going to get from the start cone to the end cone. Another thing you want to do is, if you are the person who came up with the secret maze, unless you have it written down, pay close attention to how the students are moving through the maze. You want to catch when they maybe make a wrong move, but also if you see that the group is having a little difficulty getting from one end to the other, give them hints and give them a chance to try to guess the right cone before they make their next move. Also, let's give a student a chance to come up with a secret maze. If that student is the one who makes it to the end cone, then they can be the student who comes up with the imaginary path from the start cone to the end cone for the next round. And like all our games, we always like to have an added extra activity. So like for this game, they'll do jumping jacks if they make a wrong move. We always want to have an added physical activity, but also make it a little bit more difficult. You can set up a time limit for the students to complete the maze, or you can have 2 grids and make it a competition between 2 teams against each other. All right, so that's the maze. I hope you had a lot of fun learning how to play this game. I really enjoyed this game. Stay tuned for more videos. We'll have a new game for you all to learn tomorrow. Thank you for watching. And like I say all the time, have fun and be safe.